Hello and a warm welcome to the FEI World Cup Dressage here in Gothenburg, Sweden. You have joined us for leg 10 of the Western European League World Cup Dressage. You just saw our judges there on the screens. We have a fantastic panel of judges and 11 horse and rider combinations for this Grand Prix. Just a little reminder, the judges are as follows: at E, Isabel Vessels; at H, Lars Andersen; at C, Raphael Soleil; at M, Hans Christian Matheson; and at B, Magnus Ringmark. First horse and rider combination due in at 1:30, so just in a few moments' time. Here you can see the final preparations being made in the warm-up. Carl Hedin is our first to go. 9 of the best athlete and horse combinations from the Western European League will qualify for the final, which is being held in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia in April this year. Riders have 11 chances of qualifying in 9 countries over 6 months, and as I said, this is leg 10 of 11. Just one more competition left. That will be in Gothenburg next month. First up, we have the Grand Prix. 11 combinations coming from 5 nations. Some combinations that we would have seen from the recent European Championships, some from the World Championships a couple of years ago as well. You can download the Spectator Judging app and judge along with our expert panel of judges. See how you compare to them. You can download it in the App Store or on the Play Store. And you have a chance of winning some fantastic prizes. Today is the Grand Prix. Tomorrow we will bring you the freestyle. That starts at 5 o'clock local time. You can catch all the action here on FEI TV. This is the World Cup for show jumping and dressage, so plenty of action over these few days. In leg 1, we were in Herning. Patrick Kittel had a win there. We then moved on to Lyon in France, where Frederic Vondrez took the 20 points and the win. Stuttgart saw Isabel Wert take the win with Emilio 107. And in leg 4, we went to Madrid and saw Jose Daniel Martin Dox and Malagueno dance their way to the win. London was leg 5, and it was the Brits that dominated. Charlotte Dujardin had a win on Imhotep. Then in Mechlin, just after Christmas, we saw Lottie Fry and Everdale take the top spot on the podium. We then moved on in 2024 to Basel, where we saw Olympic, European and World Cup champion Jessica von Breda-Vandel and TSF Delera BB take the win with 91.01% in freestyle. A few weeks ago, we were in Amsterdam, where again we saw Lottie Fry and Everdale take another win to give them another 20 points towards the standings. And then just last week, we were in Neumünster in Germany, and Emily Scholtens and Indian Rock took the 20 points and the win there. So 20 points up for grabs tomorrow in the freestyle here in Gothenburg. But today it's the turn of the Grand Prix. We have Agria who are sponsoring this class, so big thank you to Agria. They offer a lifetime insurance policy for your horses. That is Raphael Soleil from France, president of the ground jury here in Gothenburg. He has also been announced as the president of the ground jury for the Olympics later on this year. It's going to be a very, very exciting year for dressage. Of course, with the Olympics later this year, everybody is going to be vying for their spot on the team. France automatically get a team place as the home nation. Lots of fantastic French partnerships that will be coming forward, but our focus now is for the World Cup and who will be getting those places at the World Cup finals in just a few weeks' time in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. So our first competitor is coming up the slope and into this fabulous arena. It is Carl Hedin and Van der Veen for Sweden. This combination started at International Grand Prix in April in 2022 and have enjoyed some top 10 finishes. They scored just over 70% in Christensen's CDI 3-star for third place in their first Grand Prix. Their last time out was in May last year, where they competed in Exclu CDI 3-star and finished 12th in the Grand Prix with 68.5 and 6th in the freestyle with 69.8. Carl is amazing at producing young horses and finished 4th at last year's World Breeding Championships in the 5-year-old class with Skyline to be. He has a huge social media following and is a real favourite here in Sweden and around the world. I'm sure you heard that big applause as he entered the arena. It is a huge arena here in Gothenburg. Quite different from what we saw in Neumünster last week. They've hosted several World Cup finals. And of course we saw the Europeans in Gothenburg in 2017. So the bell has gone. Van der Veen is an 11-year-old Westphalian guarding by Vitalis. And we welcome Carl Hedin from Sweden and Van der Veen into the arena, our first combination to go for this Western European League World Cup dressage here in Gothenburg. Big smile before he moves off. Looking really nice and straight for that first centre line. So important to leave a good impression in that first initial movement. You can pick up so many valuable marks by halting in the correct point with a nice square halt. Some fairly nice steps in the extended trot. Could have done with more over track, a bit more pushing power from the hind legs. Nice crossing here in the half pass. Like to see a bit more bend through the body into a more supple frame. Not always quite regular behind through the half pass. Fairly nice there into the halt. Just checking out the environment around him. Slightly better in this extended trot. Just tracking up. Nice nice to see the improvement from the first extended trot to the second, and hopefully they can continue to build on that through the test. Again, just needs to watch the rhythm here. Just the activity dropped off slightly as he came into the piaffe. Was nice and relaxed into the extended walk. Again, the same as in the extended trot, you'd just like to see more ground cover, a bit more over track for a big mark in the walk. Also just there, you'd like to see the horse really taking that stretch down and out. Nice there in the frame and the collected walk. Just a little bit of fluency into the transition into passage. Just saw a couple of canter strides. And again, just having some problems with the rhythm. He got some good steps there in the piaffe, but unfortunately just didn't keep that fluency. You want to really see those clear diagonals in the piaffe, and that wasn't quite shown. Some nice changes there. Very correct. Pretty nice and straight as well. For the big marks, you'd like to see more ground cover. But a really, really good job from Carl. This horse still very much at the beginning of his International Grand Prix career. Again, nice through the extended canter. Could have taken a little bit more risk for a higher mark, but still showing a clear difference. Using the quarters in that second change. Better there in the half pass to the right. Just needs to make sure that he keeps the straightness through those changes. Really nice and fluent and good control through that movement. And lovely through the one-time changes there. Really nicely on the aids. Lovely preparation for the canter pirouette. Really taking that half halt well. Slightly on the larger side there through the canter pirouette. Again, lovely preparation. Carl really preparing for these movements, giving the horse the best possible chance to perform it well. Just through both canter pirouettes, I'd like to see a little bit more bend, especially in the pirouette to the right. But again, that jump will develop as the horse gets stronger, and he'll be able to get those canter pirouettes much more centered. Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. Just broke in the extended trot towards the end. Lift through the passage, managing to keep the rhythm pretty well at here. Needs to be very careful that he doesn't get those double beats. Again, not quite clear on the diagonals in the rhythm in the Piaffe. Very well ridden by Carl Hedin and Van der Veen for Sweden. Our first combination to go. Just a few little mistakes in there. You just see that this horse is quite green at this level, but what a good boy he was. Really, really taking up that atmosphere. Carl giving him so much confidence in the arena. So we can see that confidence grew as the test went on. Unfortunately, they had that break at the end of that last extended trot, but really nice and uphill through those. Lovely reach through the half passes. Just needed to be careful of the rhythm through the Piaffe and Passage today. A few times where they had a double beat in the Passage and the Piaffe and lost the rhythm in some of the Piaffe. Couldn't quite keep those diagonals. Some really nice work through the canter though, looking really secure through both lines of tempi changes. Lovely and forward, really using that whole diagonal line. A big smile from Carl to finish off. This horse just 11 years old, and the score is in 64.043%. Scores ranging from 60.761 up to 66. So now we move on to another combination. It is Natalie and Mickey M, an 18-year-old Swedish warm blood, a stallion by Mattel. Natalie Old Fours and Mickey M for Sweden. They're a long-standing duo and familiar faces to the World Cup. However, they've had a long break from competition, so it's great to see them back in the whiteboards. They competed a lot in the Central European League in the 2022-2023 season, and their last time out they had a win and Prix with 75.5 in the freestyle and came second in the Grand Prix with 69.3. Like the horse to be a little more supple to the bend. You can see him playing with the bit quite a lot. You'd like to see a more consistent contact, the horse steadier to the bridle and more accepting of the bend through those half passes. Again there through the halt, a lovely, beautiful square halt, really nicely on the marker, but the horse really opening his mouth and just dropping the pole through the rein back there. Some great energy, really nice and forward through the extended trot. But again, you'd like to see a bit more pushing power and keeping that pole up at the highest point. Yeah, it started off really good in the Piaffe. Some nice lift, very equal. Just could have done with a little more balance in the transition back into Passage. Lovely and relaxed here in the extended walk, taking a good stretch. Of course, over tracking fairly nicely. Really good relaxation here. Let's transition back up into the passage. Yeah, again, the same there in the piaffe. Just needs slightly better balance in the transition back into the passage. There's some nice lift through those. Just really needs to be aware of this mouth opening and closing quite a lot. Lovely, and forward through these 2-time tempi changes. Oh, that's a shame. It's one mistake at the end. That will pull their mark down quite a bit. The rest of them were looking really nice. Could have maybe been a little more uphill, but very correct. And again, the same there in the extended canter, showing a clear difference. Could just have had a bit more uphill tendency. Accurately ridden through the zigzag. Good straightness through that line. Just would like to see more self-carriage through this canter work. Oh, and again, a mistake right at the end. That's such a shame. Just as they've nearly finished, and a little mistake pops in both lines. Yeah, pretty nice through the canter pirouette. Canter pirouette, both of them double coefficients. Really nice control through the first one. Again, it's just that contact which is going to be pulling their marks down through each of the movements. Just at times through the extended trot, just looks slightly uneven behind. Lovely lift and energy through the passage. Again, quite a bit of chomping on the bit. So they come down now for their final halt. It is Natalie Oldefors and Mickey M for Sweden. This was 18 years old. Such a long-standing partnership. They know each other incredibly well. This was very, very relaxed in this environment. Just for me today, the contact wasn't steady enough to pick up some bigger marks. You can see there, really opening his mouth. Some of the steps and the quality was pretty good, but she's going to be consistently losing marks for the contact today, which is a real pity. Quite often lost a bit of the rhythm through the piaffe de passage, but really good through all of the lines of changes, and then mistakes at the end of both lines, which was a real shame. The changes were really nice and big and ground covering. Could maybe have done with being a little more uphill, but some good work through the test, and the score is 66.348. Scores very consistent from 64.239 up to 67. So now we move on to our next combination. It is one from Finland. It is Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman H. You see Daniel Backman-Anderson there, trainer of Yvonne. Ironman H, 11-year-old KWPN stallion by Bordeaux. They competed at the recent European Championships. That was in fact their last competition together. They finished 56th with 66.9%. They had good results earlier last year in Fastbro CDI's 3-star, where they finished third in the Grand Prix with 69.8% and fifth in the freestyle. It is Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman H for Finland. This combination have come all of the way together from competing at the World Breeding Championships as 5- and 6-year-old and come all the way up through to International Grand Prix. Very striking stallion. Tracking up well through the extended trot. Just needs to be careful that the tempo doesn't get a little quick. Just looking slightly hurried through the extended trot. Lovely bend and positioning and crossing through the half pass. Again, just lost the balance there. A slight bit of tension towards the end of the half pass. And just therefore, through the half pass to the left, losing a little bit of the rhythm. Very accurate halt. And some nice steps in the rein back. Again, tracking up very well through the extended trot, but just a little bit quick in the tempo. Struggling a little bit sometimes with the contact. Some nice transitions from the passage to the piaffe. For me, I'd like to see a bit more weight through the hind legs, but still some nice steps in the piaffe. Needs to take that contact more down and out here in the extended walk, but some lovely ground cover. Got a really, really good quality walk. Lovely there in the frame, in the collected walk. Really good in the rhythm in the walk. Nice fluency in the transition. Again, just needs to sit a little more in the piaffe. Again, this is just an 11-year-old horse, so hopefully as he builds strength and get those hind legs a little bit more under. Lovely uphill transition into the canter. Some nice big changes. Again, just at times the mouth opening slightly. Lovely ground cover there in the extended canter. Yeah, you can see Yvonne really trying to push him forward. Just in that second bit of the half pass, he just dropped behind her a little. He got a little bit too deep, and then the counting mistake came in, and she really tried hard to push him to get him more in front of her leg and off of her seat. And the same thing just happening there in the one-time changes. He just drew back slightly to, back towards her, and that's when the mistakes just came in the one-times as well. Well centered canter pirouette. Slightly better bend there in the pirouette to the right. Again, they're the same as in the other two extended trots. Just a little bit hurried, but really nice to see the horse tracking up well. Nice here in the passage. Now really needs to think about getting those hind legs underneath him in the piaffe. Yeah, slightly better that time. Just needs to keep that push coming from the hind leg. And there we have it for Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman H. A wonderful stallion. Very, very relaxed in this kind of arena. Seems to have a great attitude to his work. Just would like to see, as this horse gets older, the strength develop more in the piaffe, so he's really able to sit and take that weight from the hind leg. Some really lovely fluent transitions though. Nice and uphill through the extended trots. Just need to make sure that they're not a little hurried. Just see there, he had a little jump. But really managed to settle back down into those. Started really well in the one-time changes and then just got that mistake. Really good in the two-time changes though. They're looking really secure. He just dropped down a little bit behind her in the zigzag, and then that came through in the one-time changes as well. But a really good job from this pair. And the score is 66.457 into the lead. Scores very consistent from our judges, ranging from 65.8 up to 67.6.
This afternoon for Belgium, ladies and gentlemen, and first for Belgium, we now welcome Alexa Fletcher. She's a veteran of 9 youth Europeans and senior debut came to the Europeans in Hagen after Germany 2021.
Next up, we have combination for Belgium.
Third show together, started Le Mans in October last year, then again in Le Mans February this year, in fifth place in the Cure as we started music.
We packed out proud here in Gothenburg. You can join in with our judges if you download the Spectator Judging app. So coming into the arena now, it is Alexa Fairchild and Marla Scala Zamez, 12-year-old Lusitano stallion. A new partnership at International Grand Prix. They had their first Grand Prix in October in Le Mans, CDI 3-star, where they finished a very respectable 12th with 65.2%. Their last time out was earlier this month, back again in Le Mans, with 66.13 in the Grand Prix and 5th in the freestyle with 71.9. It is for Belgium, Alexa Fairchild and Marla Scales Hermes. Very expressive stallion, really big mover here in the extended trot, tracking up well. Could just have extended that frame a little bit more in the extended trot. You really want to see not only the frame extend but the stride length. Again, some beautiful crossing there in the half pass. Very, very expressive. Just needs to be careful that she keeps that pole at the highest point and the neck a little more open. Beautiful halt. Very well ridden, just dropping the pole slightly there in the rein back. Again, here in the extended trot, really nice steps. Just needs to make sure that that frame extends and that it doesn't get a little quick. Losing a bit of the fluency in that transition into Piaf. Some lovely lift though, the horse really able to sit and take that weight. Good relaxation here in the walk. Again, tracking up well there. It's very active. Just like to see that nose be able to stretch down and out more there in the extended walk. And just needs to make sure that this collective walk isn't a little bit too quick. Some nice steps in the Piaf. Quite a bit of travelling, so she just took a little bit of time to establish the Piaf, and once it was established there was some really nice steps, but it did mean that there was a bit of travelling there. It's definitely all the foundations for a really high scoring Piaf. Big changes, really nice and ground covering, looking nice and straight. Again, could just see that neck opening slightly more. Again, good risk shown there in the extended canter. Control so far through this line of half passes. Yeah, nicely ridden, really correct. Same there as in the one-time changes. A little bit croup high. And unfortunately, she didn't quite do enough changes there. It was meant to be 15. She only did 13. So she will lose some marks for that, unfortunately. Needs to keep the jump the whole way through the canter pirouette. Really nice and well centered. So keep that jump. Yeah, slightly better this way. Really nice control. Kept the jump really well through that pirouette to the right. Yeah, better there in the extended trot. Still a little hurried, but I think that actually that was her best one in this test. Still needs to think about opening the frame a little more. This horse has so much power. Great lift through the passage. And again, they're just a little slow to develop. You can see quite a lot of travelling in the Piaffe. I think as he gets stronger and she can really tighten that up, that will look super. A lovely halt to finish with as well. Really beautifully square. A good job from this lovely Lusitano stallion. Malascala Hermes, combination from Belgium. It is, of course, Alexa Fairchild. Really, really super horse. So much expression, so much power. Just at times today, came a little short in the neck. Look at that halt. Absolutely super. Just lost marks in that rein back though because he dropped the pole slightly. I think as this horse gets stronger and is just able to really show that connection and the collection through that transition into Piaffe, those are going to be picking up some really high marks. And again, there in the changes you can see how much power he has from the hind leg. Just becoming a little croup high in those though. And of course she didn't quite do enough one-time changes, only performed 13, she needed 15. But a really, really super horse. They're a very new partnership at this level, so plenty more to come in the future. They go into the lead at 68.283%, scores ranging from 67.2 up to 69.8. We move on now to Dirk-Jan van de Water. He is riding Hexagon's Granville, a 13-year-old gelding. They are representing the Netherlands. It is Dirk-Jan van de Water and Hexagon's Granville. This is this combination's first international since 2021, as the ride then went to Jasmine Yomtov. She competed him at the Under-25 Grand Prix European Championships, finishing 15th in the Inter 2 and 10th in the Grand Prix, 9th in the freestyle with scores up to 74.8. Together they also competed in a few World Cups and CDIs with good results. Dirk-Jan and Granville had their best results in May 2021 when they scored their PBs in Onago with 71.7 in the Grand Prix and 74.8 in the freestyle for 2 seconds. Some nice positioning through the half passes. Just have been slightly more supple to the bend through those. Again, another lovely halt, really nicely on the marker. Losing a bit of the fluency in the steps of the rein back. Not quite clear diagonals. Nice here through the passage. Nicely on the spot here in the Piaffe. Just needs to have a bit more lift from the hind leg to match the forelimb for some bigger marks. Just a little bit earthbound behind. Beautifully relaxed here in this walk. Not 100% clear in the rhythm here in the walk. And even more so here in the collected walk. Need to really see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be quite expensive for this combination. Both the extended walk and the collective walk are double coefficients. Again, beautifully on the spot here in the Piaffe. He manages to get some really lovely lift in the forelimb in the Piaffe. Just isn't quite matched by the hind leg. Again, the same as in the walk, in the canter. They always say that the walk and the canter are very closely connected, and it's not always through that short side in a clear 3-beat rhythm. Really want to see that jump coming from the hind leg and the canter. Really good in the 2-time changes. Came back a little early from the extended canter, but took some risk. Nice bend through in these canter zigzags. Again, it's just the rhythm that isn't quite 3 beats all the time. And lovely in the 1-time changes. Really lovely control through those. Again, it's the same problem in the canter pirouettes, because he doesn't quite have that canter rhythm. That just comes through in the canter pirouettes, losing a little bit of the jump. Of course, they had a bit of an issue there in the change at X as well. Through the extended trot as they come down final center line. So really going to have to think about keeping that active hind leg, getting the horse to really take some weight behind in the Piaffe. Yeah, beautifully on the spot. Really, really well done. Just needs to have that lift. As they come into the final halt. It is Dirk-Jan van de Water and Hexagon's Granville representing the Netherlands. They haven't been competing since 2021 together, when he handed the reins over to Jasmine Yomtov. She had great success with him. It's a really, really lovely work. Obviously a very talented horse. Nicely on the spot in this Piaffe. Just really struggled a little bit today in the canter with the rhythm, but two very secure lines of changes. A very well ridden test, nice and accurate. So there we have it for Dirk-Jan van de Water and Hexagon's Granville. A really lovely partnership, and they fall into fourth place with 66.282%. Scores ranging from 64.891 up to 68.261. Next up, it is another Hexagon's horse. This time it's Hexagon's Weiss, and he is being ridden by Tamar Vestra, an 11-year-old stallion. This combination competed at the recent European Championships with very consistent scores of 72.562 in the Grand Prix for 20th and 72.432 for 22nd in the special. This is their third World Cup together this season. They competed in Lyon, where they finished 10th in the Grand Prix with 71.8 and 7th in the freestyle. They then headed to Mechlin, where in the Grand Prix they finished 6th with 71.7 and 5th in the freestyle. Another combination now for the Netherlands. It is Tamar Vestra and Hexagon's Weiss. Start for Tamar. Tracking up nicely in the extended trot. Could just have been a little more over the back. Again, that translates through here in the half pass. Needs to be much more supple to the bend. Better this way, much better in this half pass to the left. Much more accepting of the bend. Just make sure that she doesn't get a little bit quick. Lost a bit of the balance there around the corner, but managed to get it back for the halt. Some fairly nice steps in the rein back, just not quite in the diagonals. Good activity through the Piaffe. Just generally in the trot work, to see the horse a little bit softer over the back. Really good quality walk here in the extended walk. You can really see the horse marching. Good ground cover in the extended walk. Nice collection here in the collected walk. Going to be picking up some good marks for this. Just got a little bit short towards the end as they picked up the passage. Nice transition into the piaffe. Just getting a little bit high behind. Really lovely in the activity though. Really, really lovely and on the spot through the piaffe. Nicely on the aids through these 2-time tempes. A real highlight for this combination. Really nice and uphill. Taking good risk here in the extended canter. Lovely ground cover. Could maybe just be a little more uphill for some bigger marks, but really well ridden there from Tamar. Some nice crossing in the half passes. He just drops the pole every time, apart from that last one there. The last two he didn't do it, but the first few he just dropped the pole. They did have a little mistake at the beginning there. You can just see him getting a little bit deep again in these one-time changes, but really nice changes themselves. It just comes back at her a little bit in the contact. But again, this horse still only 11 years old. And again there, as she prepares for the canter pirouette, some really nice steps in the canter, but he just draws back in the neck and comes a bit short. Very, very small canter pirouette. Needs to think about the balance if she's going to ride it that small. Extended trot. Needs to make sure that it doesn't get a little bit too quick. So the final centre line now. Some nice active steps in the piaffe. Losing a little bit of the throughness there as she comes into the final halt, and it's a good square one for Tamar Vestra and Heston's Ik Weiss. Trending around 70%. That would definitely put this combination into the lead. Some really solid work through the test. Big pat to this lovely stallion. A really, really nicely forward test. just at times got a little bit quick in some of the trot work. Very accurately ridden, lost a bit of the suppleness through the half passes here in the trot work. Much better in the half pass here to the left. Some good work through the Piaffe Passage. This horse has such lovely lift. You can see at times he got a little bit high behind in the Piaffe, but really lovely equal lift in front to behind, and that's what we just lacked in the previous combination, where he was a little bit earthbound behind in the Piaffe. Really lovely and uphill through the canter pirouettes, lovely control through those. Nice through the 2-time changes. That for me was definitely the highlight of the test. Really, really lovely control. Well ridden from Tamar Vespa and the lovely stallion Hexagon's Ickvice. And it is a score of 70.283%, and that's enough to put them in the lead. Scores ranging from 69.239 up to 71.522. So we go into a short break now, but Tamar Vestra is out in the lead with 70.283 in second, and Alexa Fairchild and Malascalas Hermes for Belgium, and Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman for Finland in third place. Make sure you join us after the break. We're going to take about 20 minutes for some more fantastic dressage from the likes of Emma Johnson, Maria von Essen, Boya Kalakoza, Domian Michaels and Mads Peidowitz. So the next combination due back in the arena at 2:44. Watch some lovely highlights during the break from our first half. Our wonderful 6 combinations that have already come forward. 5 combinations left to go after the break, so make sure you join us back in just a few moments' time. 2:44, the next combination are due into the arena.
för den du bryr dig om lite extra. Vi på Agria finns där, dygnet runt faktiskt. Läs mer om vad som ingår i vår nya försäkring. Hästextra på agria.se.
Getting to the judges' seat at the FEI Dressage World Cup competitions with great prizes. You have the unique opportunity to judge the competing riders here in Gothenburg and on the upcoming FEI Dressage World Cup Western European League events. Join the FEI League today by downloading the spectator judging app and select Gothenburg Horse Show. You can predict the top 3 riders to score extra points and compare your marks directly with the judges. Great rewards await. The most active and accurate days at the end of the season, with a trip for 2 to the future FEI Dressage event as the grand prize. The judges' seat is yours. Download the Spectator Judging app from the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to this Western European leg 10.
The FEI
Here in
Dressage
Gothenburg.
World Cup returns for
Here
a
you can see
new
the current
season.
standings. Out
As
in
the
the lead is
world's
Team
best
Alvestra and
athletes
Hexagon's
and horses
Advice
take
for the
centre
Netherlands on
stage to deliver
70.283.
performances
Alexa
full of
Fairchild
grace,
is in second,
power, music
68.283.
and
And Yvonne
artistry
Osterholm
in a bid
is
to
in
secure a
third
place at
place.
the finals in
Here
April
is the start list.
2024.
5 left to go.
This
Emma Johnson
is
coming in first,
equestrian
Maria von
sport
Essen,
at its
Boya
most
Kalakoza,
elegant.
Domia Michels and Mads Heidelodes. So 5 left to go in this Grand Prix. Still very much all to play for. And here you can see the next combination to go. Already a big smile on her face. That's lovely to see. It is Emma Johnson, and she rides Gerion for Sweden. This is a 13-year-old KWPN gelding by Jazz. Emma and Gerion have been competing at this level since 2022. This is their second World Cup, but the first one in the Western European League. They competed in Wroclaw in October, finishing 16th with 65.6. However, unfortunately didn't quite qualify through to the freestyle. They had a podium finish though in Varagum CDI 3-star in September. They finished 4th there in the Grand Prix with 68 and 2nd in the special with 68.5. Emma has competed at 2 Youth European Championships as well and picked up team bronze in 2015. So the bell has gone as we invite the next combination to go in this part 2 of the leg 10 here in Gothenburg for the Western European League World Cup Dressage. See Carl Hedden, who was first into the arena there supporting Emma. So into the arena now. It is Emma Johnson and Gerion for Sweden. Not the start that she would have wanted there. We could see that she had some difficulty coming into the arena. But a good move off. She's really going to be looking to give this horse confidence in this arena. It is such a big arena. I don't think you can quite grasp how vast it is from looking at the screen. But you know, we've had World Cup finals here, so it really is a huge arena with an amazing atmosphere. Really nice and forward, lovely activity through this half pass. Just like to see a bit more relaxation, which Emma is going to be working hard to achieve as this test goes on. Just lost a little bit of the suppleness to the bend there in the half pass to the left. It's just a bit against her there in the rein back, unfortunately. Nice into the halt, and of course after that first halt at the beginning, she will be really pleased that he just stayed with her in the halt. You can see this horse has a lot of talent. Some lovely lift in the passage. Just be, again, a little bit more relaxed and carry those hind legs more underneath himself. Just got a bit creep high in the piaffe. If he could just lower the hind leg and get those more underneath him, he's going to be in for some really nice marks for the piaffe. Doing a good job trying to keep his attention on her. You can just see him losing some of the attention, getting distracted by what's going on around him. These riders and horses do get the opportunity to come in and do arena walks, but of course it's a totally different atmosphere when the arena's empty and you're in there with several other horses and riders to when there is a crowd full of people in the audience. It can catch them unaware sometimes, and that's just something that Emma is really working hard to achieve, that relaxation and that confidence, and hopefully they will get through to tomorrow's freestyle and she can build on that again tomorrow. Doing a really good job of keeping the control and keeping the focus on her. Just at times the horse is just holding himself, getting a little bit tight over the back. These are when the big tests are going to come. Doing a really good job so far in this line of 2-time changes. Could be a little straighter for higher marks, but really, really well ridden. And again there, just asking enough to show a difference in the extended canter without asking too much to make the horse lose confidence there. Of course, she needed to open the frame a little more in the extended canter for the bigger marks, but keeping the control again through this canter zigzag. Just looking a little bit strong in some of these movements. Very well ridden through these 1-time changes. Lots of ground cover, ridden those really nice and forward. But again, just could do with being a little bit more relaxed over the top line. Oh, losing a bit of the balance coming out there of the canter pirouette. Oh. Yeah, good job, well ridden. She just needed a little bit more control through the steps of the canter pirouette there. He was just slightly spinning. Nice and uphill through the extended trot. Again, showing a clear difference. He does seem to be paying much more attention to his rider now. Like to see a slightly steadier contact there down the centre line. You could see him playing with the bit in the passage. And again there in the Piaffe, need to see much more sitting, but some nice steps in front. A very good job, well ridden by Emma Johnson. The lovely Gerion. Still relatively new to this level and had a bit of a difficult start, so she really did a good job of keeping him together. Super through the lines of changes. She did a great job, and I always think, you know, you've got to ride the horse that you get on the day. And there you could see the difficult start that she had, and she really did a good job of clawing back some marks from a difficult start. Really nice through these half passes. You can see the lift that he has and the range through those half passes. Really nice through some of the passage work. Just would like to see much more sitting in the Piaffe. You can see he gets a little bit croup high. Want to see those hind legs coming much more underneath him for the higher marks. But she had such lovely control. Rode a really nice, accurate test. And really gave him confidence through the Grand Prix. There's a big smile on Emma's face as she gives her final salute to Raphael Saleh, who is sitting at sea. And she goes into third, 67.609% for Emma Johnson and Jarion for Sweden. So next up, it is another combination for Sweden. This time it is Maria von Essen and Invoice. It's a 12-year-old Oldenburg gelding, another one by Jazz. Maria and Invoice have come up through small tour together, and this is just their 5th international Grand Prix. The last time out they competed in Stockholm CDI 5-star in great company. They finished 10th in the Grand Prix with 70.5 and jumped up to 8th place in the freestyle with their personal best of 77.2. They've enjoyed some podium finishes earlier last year. Very consistent and sitting around 70% in the Grand Prix. So let's see what they can achieve today. So the bell has gone, and we just wait for Maria to start her test. So for Sweden, it is Maria von Essen and Invoice. Nice immobility in that first halt. Some lovely steps there through the extended trot. I think for the higher marks, the judges would like to see the hind legs a little bit more under, a bit more pushing power, but the horse really tracking up well. slightly better there towards the end of the half pass. You could just see he was holding back slightly towards the end. We'd like to see a bit more suppleness to the bend. Nice halt. Some good steps in the rein back. Again, tracking up nicely in the extended trot. Lovely and fluent into the passage with a lovely lift. This horse has a really nice active hind leg. Oh, you can see that him just backing off in the middle of that piaffe. Needs a slightly more consistent stretch here in the extended walk. Fairly nice in the walk, tracking up, but the judges would like to see more ground cover for the bigger mark. Much more consistent in the contact here in the collected walk. Really good walk rhythm. Nicely on the aids up into the passage. Really fall in, really lovely lift. A bit more jump in this canter. Very correct changes. I'd just like to see a bit more ground cover and a bit more jump in the canter. Again, they're the same in the extended canter. Like to see a little bit more. It's just fairly conservative. Nice control through the canter zigzag. Again, very well ridden, really nice and precise, but just generally this canter is lacking some jump. Lovely and straight through the one-time changes. Yeah, really well positioned on the diagonal as well. This horse beautifully obedient to his rider. Again, really lovely control through the canter pirouette. I think for the bigger mark, you'd like to see a bit more bend. She kept the fluency. Again, here you'd like to see a bit more bend. It's very straight through the head and neck. Beautifully centered through those canter pirouettes though. As I say, really lovely control. They have such a lovely partnership, these two. super rhythm in the passage, really lovely lift. As I said earlier, nice to see that the hind leg and the forelimb are well matched. Beautiful activity, nicely on the spot in the Piaffe. Really see this horse is able to sit and take that weight behind. Beautiful fluent transitions there as well. She needs to be careful actually that she doesn't ride too many steps in the Piaffe. It's only 12 to 15 steps required. And a super halt to finish for Maria von Essen and the lovely Invoice. Trending on over 70%. Has she done enough to overtake Tamar Vestra? A very, very happy supporter in the kiss and cry. This horse has such talent for the Piaffe and dressage work. Really, really lovely to see that from them. That was a real highlight. That last centre line was so beautifully ridden. Such wonderful activity and lift. Really beautiful fluent transitions. That's where she really picked up those marks today. Unfortunately, just didn't quite have enough jump for me in the canter, and therefore I think would have lost quite a few marks there, but really lovely control. Everything in the canter was very correct. Both lines of tempi changes were really super. And there you can see the lovely Piaffe. You can really see the horse taking that weight through the hind leg. Lovely control through the canter pirouettes. Could have just done with a bit more bend. Again, you can see that this horse is really able to sit and collect. Their personal best is 72.087 in the Grand Prix. Are they going to be close to that today? I think it might be close. They go into the lead, 71.261 at scores ranging from 69.348 up to 72.609. So a new leader, Maria von Essen. Now we move on to our combination from Spain. It is Boya Calacosa and Sir Hubert NRW. An 11-year-old Westphalian gelding by Sir Heinrich OLD. So coming down the centre line now for Spain, it is Boya Calacosa and Sir Hubert NRW. This combination have been very busy so far this year. This is their 4th World Cup qualifier of 2024. They started off in Basel, where they had top 10 finishes, 10th in the Grand Prix with 69.1 and 7th in the freestyle. Then they went on to Amsterdam, where they finished 14th both days with 70.5 in the Grand Prix. Then just last week in Neumünster, they finished 10th in the Grand Prix with 70.1 and 11th in the freestyle. They started at International Grand Prix last year. Good reach here in the half pass. Like to see a bit more self-carriage. Some great energy, really nice crossing. Just losing that lightness. Ended up being a nice hold there. Was just slightly imbalanced going into it, and unfortunately just dropped the pole there in the rein back. Some fairly nice steps in the extended trot. Nice lift in the passage. Losing the fluency coming into the Piaffe, and you can see some uneven steps behind. Didn't quite maintain the rhythm going into the Piaffe today. just see a bit more relaxation here in the walk. The walk just generally feels a little bit tight. You'd like to see the horse walking more over his back, more through the body, and then that would allow for more ground cover. Starting off fairly well here in the Piaffe, just needs to keep that rhythm. Yeah, Boyer just choosing to allow the Piaffe a little bit more forward there to try and keep the rhythm a little more. You can see the score just dropped slightly below 70%. Good through the two-time changes. Nice correct changes, but could have just been a little straighter. Got a bit close behind in that short side in preparation for this extended canter. Some nice risks shown. Lost a little bit of the balance through the half passes, but accurately ridden and actually showed some nice suppleness through the zigzag. Again, very correct through the one-time changes. Still a little bit of swaying, but really shows great ground cover through the ones. Nice and centered through the canter pirouette. Just a couple of times he got a little bit close behind. You'd like to see the separation clearly there. I think going into it, yeah, better this time, much better this time. Chose to ride it a little bit bigger, so he will lose a couple of marks for that, but actually kept the rhythm behind in that canter pirouette to the right. In that first one, I just think he could have taken a little bit more of a half halt going into it, and I think that would have just helped him out a little bit more. So coming down the centre line now, really needs to think about the rhythm behind coming into the Piaffe. You could just see there, got a little bit behind, and again here, just getting a little bit high behind in the passage, and that unfortunately doesn't help him in that transition going into Piaffe. Just really needs to try and get that hind leg more sitting in the Piaffe passage. And there we have it for Boyer Carricosa and Sir Hubert NRW for Spain. Their combination best score is 71.6. Let's see if they're going to break through into the 70% barrier. That would be enough to put them into the top three. Very close at the top of our current standings, but here are our highlights for Boyer. Some really nice work, especially through the canter, lovely through the tempi lines of changes. At times we would have liked to have seen a bit more self-carriage in some of the work, and unfortunately they lost quite a lot of marks today because of the rhythm in the Piaffe Dressage. They've been so consistent through their campaign in this World Cup, scoring around 69-70% in the Grand Prix, and I think today's going to be the same. For me, the highlight was definitely that second canter pirouette. Really, really well ridden. Lost a bit of the balance here in the canter zigzag, but a test I'm sure he will be very happy with. So we just wait for the score. It is 70.13 into third place. Scores ranging from 68.5 up to 72.065. So into third place at the moment for Boya Karakoza. Now we move on to another combination from Belgium. It is Domien Michels and Intermezzo van het Middelhof, a 16-year-old Belgian warm-blood gelding by Globaldi. So starting their test now, coming down the centre line. Belgium's Domien Michels and Intermezzo van het Middelhof. They're a very established partnership. Competed at the Tokyo Olympics, at the Hagen Europeans, the Herning World Championships, and the Rosenbeck Europeans. At the recent Europeans, they finished 43rd in the Grand Prix with just over 69%. This is their second World Cup qualifier after they competed in Mechlin in December, just after Christmas. They finished 11th in both classes with 70.3 in the Grand Prix and 75.6 in the freestyle. Their freestyle personal best came in April last year at the Fontainebleau CDI 5-star, where they scored 76.97 for 6th place. Nice reach here through the half pass. Needs to maintain that rhythm. Really, really super crossing. Lovely to the bend. Better there in the half pass to the left. Could have just maintained the halt for a little longer. The judges really want to see 3 seconds. Oh, that's a shame. Just got a little bit tense and broke into canter on the short side coming out of the halt rein back. Was very expressive in front, but would like to see more pushing power from that hind leg. Yeah, you could see in the passage, just didn't quite have that collection and that activity, but then they lost the fluency in the transition into the Piaffe and was quite earthbound behind in the Piaffe steps. Really nice positioning in the Piaffe. You just want to see that punch and that lift from behind. Lovely relaxation here in the walk though. Some really great ground cover, lovely relaxation. That should be scoring really well from the judges. To keep that freedom of the shoulder though through this collected walk. Yeah, just losing the rhythm slightly in the passage. As I said, this horse really, really lovely in its positioning in the Piaffe. Has the hind legs nicely underneath him, but just slightly earthbound behind in the steps. And that's being really nitpicky, of course. But as dressage riders, we always want to strive for those 9s and 10s. Riding those changes really nice and forward, lovely and uphill. Yeah, A lovely line of 2-time changes. And again, beautifully uphill in the extended canter here. Nice to see that Domian's able to ride that right the way through the diagonals. Sometimes you can see the riders backing off as they come towards the corner, and Domian really using that whole diagonal line. Unfortunately, the change was together behind, so we would have lost a few marks for that, but good through the extended canter. A nice balance here through the canter zigzag. Again, very accurately ridden, really, really nice and supple through the bend. Lovely to see him taking his time to get the straightness on the diagonal before he even asks for those one-time changes. Again, very good control through the canter work. Very obedient to the changes. Canter is definitely their highlight. Could have taken a bit more of a half halt coming into the canter pirouette there. Really nice and centered. Again, maintaining that lovely uphill tendency, keeping the jump in the canter. See that score jumping up through the canter work up to 71.1 now. That would be a personal best for Domian. Like to see a bit more over track there in the extended trot. Now what can he do down this final centre line? Really needs to get that hind leg a bit more active and underneath coming into the piaffe. Yeah, again, just could do with a bit more lift through the piaffe. Lost a bit of the fluency, took one quite big step coming out of the piaffe into the passage, but a lovely, lovely job, beautifully ridden from Domian Michels with this lovely horse, Intermezzo Van Het Middelhoff. Really established, especially in the canter work. Canter work was really, really super, and you could see the score climbing through the canter work. I'm sure there would have been plenty of 8s from our judges. Some lovely, lovely work. Nice in the frame there in the extended trot. Could just have had a little bit more over track. Unfortunately, they had that little break there. Just got a little bit tense as they moved out of the halt rein back. Nice here in the piaffe, really lovely in the frame again. You can just see it doesn't really get the lift behind in the piaffe. The toe stays pretty much on the ground. So for the bigger marks, you would want to see much more of a lift in the piaffe. But the standout was for sure the canter. And it puts them into second place, 70.848. Very consistent from our judges across the board. Scoring from 70 up to 71.522. And that is, in fact, a personal best for Domian Michels and Intermezzo Van Het Middelhoff. So up next, it is Mads Hengelwitz. This is a rider that competed in the Rio Olympic Games. He is riding Autograph Q, a 14-year-old Swedish warm blood by Ampere. This is Mads and Autograph's second World Cup qualifier after they competed in Mechlin at the very end of last year. They finished 18th in the Grand Prix with 63.1. Only the top 15 get through to the freestyle, unfortunately, so he didn't qualify. They've been together since the very beginning and competed together at the World Breeding Championships back in 2017 in the 7-year-old class, then through Small Tour and up to Grand Prix in December 2022. Some of their best results came in October, where they finished second in the Grand Prix and Freestyle with 68.7 and 71.9. It is Mads Hendelwitz and Autograph Q for Sweden. As I said, Mads rode at the Rio Olympic Games after being called up from the reserve spot and finished 29th individually with Jimmy Chu. Good start. Kept the immobility in that first halt. Some nice steps here in the extended trot. Would like to see that frame extend a little better there towards the end. Really lovely, elegant horse. Nice long legs, great reach through the half pass. Just to have a little bit more suppleness to the bend in the half pass to the right. Yeah, and again here in the half pass to the left. Really lovely through the steps though, lovely crossing, really nice and expressive. Just didn't quite step up and through on that left hind in the halt. Just drew back at him slightly in those steps in the rein back. Again, there's some nice steps in the extended trot, but you'd like to see him more. Yeah, he just came back at him there in the Piaf. A bit of resistance. Well ridden from Mads though, getting him again in front of the leg and getting out of that situation. That would have lost them a significant amount of marks though. Tracking up in the walk, quite restricted through the shoulder. You'd like to see much more shoulder freedom. Nice activity though. You can just see he's really walking in the legs, but not really walking over the back there. Oh, and again, some issues here in the Piaf. Nicely up into the canter. Good jump here in the canter. Nice and forward through the two-time changes. Could just have been straighter through that line. Some nice steps in the canter half passes, but they did have a mistake in one of the changes. Just needs to be ridden a bit more accurately through that zigzag line. Bit of swinging here in the ones, nicely on the aids. Really nice through the changes. Good preparation for the canter pirouette. Oh, just got a bit spinning there towards the end. Let's keep that jump. Yes, better this time. Again, there's some nice steps in the extended canter. Just could do with the nose a little bit more in front of the vertical. Really want to see the stride length as well as the frame lengthen in the extended trot. Yeah, better there in the Piaf. You know, of course, they had the resistance in the other two. You could see that Mads was really offering the hand forward there in the Piaf and allowed him to travel forward. And there we have it for Mads Halowitz and autograph cue. They are our final combination to go in this World Cup qualifier here in Gothenburg. 11 combinations have come forward for this Grand Prix. As we watch through the highlights now, unfortunately they had a few blips in the test today which just prevented them from really achieving those mid-60 scores that they've had before. Some tension here in the Piaf. Mads did a really good job of keeping Autograph on side and keeping him forward, but that will have affected their marks quite significantly. Some really nice lines of tempo changes though, moving really nicely and forward. Really enjoyed the second pirouette to the right. Unfortunately, those Piafs will pull him down quite significantly today. But well ridden from Mads. It is 11th place with 62.522. Scores ranging from 60.652 up to 63.587. Sorry, no, 63.913. So our winner, it is Maria von Essen and Invoice for Sweden, 71.261. In second, it is Domia Mikkels and Intermezzo van Merelhoff for Belgium on 70.848. And Tamar Vestra takes the third place with Hexagons Ikwijs from the Netherlands, 70.283%. We then see Boya Kalikoza in fourth, Alexa Fairchild in fifth, Emma Jonsson in sixth. In seventh, Finland's Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman H in eighth. Natalie Oldors and Mickey M ninth. Dirk-Jan van de Water. And then Carl Hedden and Mads Hendelwitz. Here are the current standings so far. Patrick Kittel is out on top with 72 points. Matthias Alexander Raff for Germany in second, close behind with 69. Nana Skolborg-Morald for Denmark, in third place. Isabel Vert for Germany in fourth place with Charlotte Fry. Then further down you can see Boya Kalikoza there in equal 14th place, so he's going to be looking to pick up some points tomorrow in the freestyle. Close scores at the top of our leaderboard today, so it really is going to be all to play for. In the freestyle, So we just prepare now for our prize giving. Make sure you stay with us. And of course, make sure you join us back tomorrow for the freestyle. It starts at 5 p.m. local time. But here are the highlights from today's Grand Prix.
För den du bryr dig om lite extra. Vi på Agria finns där, dygnet runt faktiskt. Läs mer om vad som ingår i vår nya försäkring. Häst Extra på agria.se.
Getting ready for the prize giving, where we you'll see our top 8 combinations coming forward. Our representatives of Agria, the FEI, the organising committee, and of course our ground jury are just taking their spots in the arena. So, into the arena now. We congratulate our winners of this Grand Prix and our place riders. It is in 8th place, Natalie Oldorfs and Mickey M for Sweden. They scored 66.348%. Then in 7th, it is Yvonne Osterholm and Ironman H for Finland, scoring 66.457. Emma Jonsson and Gerion for Sweden finished in 6th with 67.609. Belgium's Alexa Faircharge and Mala Scalas Hermes was in 5th with a score of 68.283. And then in 4th, it was Spain's Boya Cavacosa and Sir Hubert NRW with a score of 70.13%. Congratulations to our 4th to 8th place riders in this Grand Prix. Western European League World Cup qualifier here in Gothenburg. We had 11 horse and rider combinations coming forward, and all 11 will go forward to tomorrow's freestyle. Very, very close at the top. So it's all to play for in tomorrow's freestyle. So we just wait now for our top 3 to come through. In anticipation for our top 3 to come through. 1% separates our top 3. So here they come, up the slope and into this magnificent arena. It is in 3rd place, Tamar Vestra and Hexagon's Ik Weiss with a score of 70.283. Domia Mikkels and Intermezzo Van Het Middelhoff in 2nd with a personal best of 70.848. Our winner, of course, is Maria von Essen and Invoice for Sweden with a score of 71.261. So there we have it, our top 3 in this Grand Prix. Will we see the same podium again tomorrow in the freestyle? You'll have to come back and watch along with us here on FEI TV tomorrow at 5 p.m. local time. But now we stand for the national anthem of Sweden. congratulations to our winner, Maria von Essen, and the lovely Invoice. A very passionate crowd here in Gothenburg, so supportive of our top three. Invoice not keen to stand still in the prize giving, so it's going to be a flying handshake for our representative of Agria. Big thank you to Agria, who are the sponsors of this fantastic class. There you can see Raphael Soleil, our president of the ground jury. So, in second place, it was with a personal best score of 70.848, Dobian Michels and Intermezzo van Het Middelhoff. The fantastic tests and beautiful canter work from that combination. So, as a representative of Agria and Raphael Soleil, as well as the organising committee, congratulate Domian. And now we move on to our combination in third place. It is Tamar Vestra and Hexagons Ikwijs from the Netherlands with a score of 70.283%. They finish in third place. So huge congratulations to our top three in today's Grand Prix. As I said, make sure that you join us back tomorrow for the freestyle for more fantastic dressage. All 11 combinations will be coming forward for the freestyle. So that is going to be at local time 5 p.m. But now we hear from our winner.
Maria von Essen, purfärsk in i landslagets A-trupp i år. Vilken kanonstart.
Ja, verkligen. Ja, det känns helt fantastiskt.
Berätta lite grann. Den här hästen Invoice, känslig individ som kräver sin trygga ryttare.
Ja, nej, men han har ju lite svårt med sådana här omgivningar, så det har varit en utmaning. Men han skötte sig ju verkligen helt fantastiskt idag.
Jag måste säga, jag stod ju bredvid Ebba här nere, din kusin som går och leder Invoice och skapar trygghet från marken. Det var mycket känslor där bak. Det var glädje, det var tårar.
Ja.
Hur mycket betyder det här?
Nej, men otroligt mycket. Ja, det går inte att beskriva, tror jag.
Och nu har vi kyren som väntar imorgon. Vad kan vi vänta oss ifrån den? Kommer det bli ännu mer power då imorgon?
Vad sa du?
Kommer det bli mer power imorgon? Imorgon blir det Bruce Springsteen och kyr.
Ja, precis. Jag försöker hålla ner power så mycket det går, men vi ska göra vårt bästa.
Vi hoppas såklart på fler svenska nationalsånger och stort grattis Maria von Essen.
Tack.
And congratulations to Maria.
Lap of honor when you're ready.
Unfortunately, I do not speak Swedish, so I cannot translate that for you. But I think she seems pretty happy. So now it's time for our lap of honor, as Maria von Essen takes the lead with the wonderful Invoice. Congratulations to them. And a big thank you to all of our team and the teams, of course, behind the teams, the owners, the grooms, all of the support. It takes a village to get these riders to where they are, and it wouldn't be possible without them. So, our winner, Maria von Essen and Invoice. Second place for Belgium, Domian Michels and Intermezzo van Het Middelhoff. And in third, the Netherlands, Tamar Vestra and Hexagons Ikwijs. Make sure you join us back on FEI TV for the freestyle tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central European time, 4 p.m. British time. Until then, that's it from me. Have a fantastic evening, and we will see you tomorrow.
and gentlemen,